Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's Leadership Satsang session. I'm your leadership coach, Yukti Kapoor Mehendirata. Thank you so much for all the love that I receive from you all week after week. And so I've lost the count of how many weeks have gone by that we have been connecting together every Tuesday, wanting to become better people, become better leaders. And if that is the intent you have, then I will not hold myself back to share whatever little I know so that it can help you to become that better version of yourself. So, thank you so much for having that intent in the first place. And with that, I want to open the space for your questions. This is the time of the month when you can put out any question, any challenge related to leadership or your career, wherever you think you're getting stuck. Let us see what we can do and learn to unstuck you from that place. But before we go any further with that, let's bring ourselves into this moment completely. And our way of doing that is to chant Om together, a union of three powerful syllables. A chant in itself, which is also called as a king chant. O and M. When they come together, is when it creates universal sound, and that chant has the power to heal you if you can just merge with it. How I wish we could just do like one full chanting session. And maybe by the end of it, there'll be no questions to ask. There'll be no answers to share. It'll just be that one moment, that one space we can create together where we surrender, where we merge, where the questioning stops. Let's hope that we're able to do that sometime soon. For now, we will chant Om 5 times together. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Make sure you're seated comfortably wherever you are. If you're on the chair, then place your feet firmly on the ground and take a nice, beautiful breath in and breathe out. Just allow yourself to come back to your breath, to your home, to your core. Take a nice deep breath in again and out. There is no better time to do this. There is no best time to do this. There is no right or wrong time to come back to your breath. Whenever life stops making sense to you, just bring your attention back to your breathing. That's all we've got to do. Another beautiful breath in, please. And breathe out. And with the next breath, we will chant Om together. As you exhale, breathe in first. Shanti. 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 And whenever you're ready, please rub your palms together and gently place them on your eyes, on your face, on your neck, the shoulders, the arms, and your entire body, and slowly come back. All right, tell me that you're here with me, that you're here 100%. Let's have 100% in the chat, please, and let me know which part of the world are you joining in from today. Are you 100% with me? Let's have 100% from your city. What's your city today? Which part of the world are you in? Because I realize a lot of us travel, and especially now, the festive time. Today's Ashtami, so happy Navratri to all of you. Jai Mata Di. You see the little bit of red. In fact, a lot of red that you see on me right now is because of Ashtami Puja. I hope you had a colorful week as well. In fact, I must share with you all, this week I was so out of my comfort zone, like completely out of my comfort zone, because I got this random idea to put out a reel every day of the last week with different colors. So I love Navratri because I love colors and I love Ma, right? So I love Ma Durga. I love every roop of Ma. I think I connect very deeply with the goddesses, and and so I thought I will be anyways wearing those beautiful colors every day. Why not share the colors and the happiness with people? I don't know how many really connected with that, but I did put myself out there on Insta every single day last week, wearing the color of the day and wishing you all Navratri. I don't know how many of you followed. If you did, give me in the chat, because Insta is one place where I'm still kind of warming up, and I honestly feel like I don't have the kind of entertainment to offer which people quite enjoy on that platform. Uh, Maybe it's like the boring content category, because it's so difficult to really talk about anything other than what I like talking about for me. So I'm kind of a little bit out of the shell, putting out videos with no like real heavy dose message attached to it. So if you find them on Insta, please do give me some bit of encouragement, a little bit of a pat on the back. I'm asking for it really because I need it. Especially when it comes to Insta, I really need to be lot more comfortable than I am on that platform. So if you are on that platform and you're more comfortable than me, which is a very, very, very high probability, then just pull me in, please pull me in. I want to be there. I'm just little unsure of whether people will be able to connect. And, for me, adding value comes like my first nature. And sometimes it's just random stuff that can help you connect with people, which is what I'm trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so thank you so much for hearing me out and for being the motivation behind pushing myself out of the comfort zone. With that, let me open the space as promised for you all to share your questions. What is that challenge you're facing right now in your life? And as I always say, facing a challenge is good news, because those who are within their comfort zone will never face much of a challenge. If you're facing one and if it looks huge, if it's like a real big size challenge, it means you're that much more away from your comfort zone, right? So for me, putting these reels out was not like a massive challenge, but it was challenging, because of the reasons that I shared a while back. What is that one challenge which you are dealing with and you haven't yet found that clarity, maybe courage to come out of the closet, to break out of that shell? Maybe you don't know how to, maybe what you've tried hasn't helped in the past. So, whatever it is, bring it on. Please, BIO, bring it on. That's exactly why I'm here with you all today. And it's a session I so look forward to because, there's no prep. There is absolutely no way for me to find out what's on your mind. But when I see one, I know where to pick this up from, how to take you to a space where you can explore your own solutions. So I love playing this along with you. Okay, so please bring it on as I welcome Imocha and Dinesh. Imocha from Assam, Dinesh from Hyderabad. Thank you so much for joining in, everybody. And with that, you can put out your questions if you like. Of course, like I said earlier as well, and I've said a few times, there are a lot of questions I receive on email, and I will pick up a few from there if we don't see live questions here in a bit. So I'm giving you the first opportunity because you've joined me live, and that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. So bring it on. Is there a question on your mind that I can help you with? Let me see if I can update my side of the screen and the comments and refresh it and see if there's any comment I'm missing out on. Do let me know what are some of the questions that you want to bounce off today. What is it that you want to explore with me? And with that, I want to also share the fact that I'm noticing a lot of interesting comment coming from our Honorable Prime Minister. I don't know if it's an initiative after the birthday celebration or this has been another initiative from his end to connect with people. But I really do appreciate how he wants to break the cliche of being a typical prime minister without talking about his political views and decisions, more political in nature. I think just in terms of the attempt that he makes to connect is commendable. So I saw this one video where he talks about managing anxiety. Honestly, I haven't watched the video, but it's like right at the top. You know, whatever AI is working behind my feed, I'm sure you see it as well. So it's kind of nice to break that stereotype, that typical ways of leading. You know, that's what stands out for me. Like I said, I haven't even watched the video. I don't know what he's talking about when he talks about anxiety and, you know, what are his tips, irrespective of the content. Just the intent is so amazing. To do something from your heart, to do something which doesn't kind of follow the bandwagon, which is not a typical way of doing what you do. And unfortunately, we don't realize that as leaders in our own space. You know, we land up behaving in a way that we're expected to behave. But what's important to remember is that there might not be any specific way or expectation in terms of behavior. Expectations at senior leadership levels are more related to results. And hence, you have the flexibility to choose the behavior. You have the flexibility to choose the attitude with which you want to lead. You can bring in everything that you have missed out when you were on the other side of the table, when you were being led. What is it that you totally missed out on? How about bringing that? How about creating the culture that you want to be a part of instead of complaining about the culture that you're not liking, you're not appreciating? Especially when you are empowered with the position that you have today, which you didn't have yesterday. Even if it's not at the top of the pyramid, if it's somewhere in between, it's still an opportunity to do more than what you could have done yesterday, isn't it? So grab it and really bring that change. You know, it sounds like very cliche, but honestly, what Mahatma Gandhi said is something that has stayed with me as a motto of life of sorts, that, you know, you've got to be the change you want to see in the world, because the change is not going to happen on its own. If you don't like something, you change. You change the way you deal with it. And others around will be inspired to follow suit. And that's how we bring about change in anything, anywhere, isn't it? Does that make sense? Does it resonate with you? Give me MS in the comments, please, but make sense. Let's have make sense in the chat. Actually, why not full make sense and no MS, okay? Make sense. Let's get used to a little more writing, a little more effort. Yep. All right. So I have a few questions here. Inchira is asking how to work on influencing skills and improve it. Very, very good question. Influencing skills, how to work on influencing skills and improve it. Now, let's understand what is the intent behind the influence that you want to create. I'm assuming the intent is to get collaboration, to get support. If it is your directs, you need to align them to what you're expected to deliver. And so you have to influence them to do something more than what they have to do, something more than what they want to do, right? And do it in a way that you want them to do. And all of this requires influencing skills. But you also need to sometimes influence people who don't report into you, right? They are your peers, sometimes even people senior than you. You need to influence them for a lot of things. Whatever we call as an approval is an ask, isn't it? And whenever you're putting out an ask, you need to find ways to influence the decision makers, understanding their ability to see things the way you see it. Share your perspective so that you get that approval, you get that support. So, how do we work on influencing skills? Now, there's an amazing book that Robert Cialdini has written on influence. And that might not be the only source of reference, but that definitely is a go to book, just as how we want to go back to how to win friends and influence people. I'm sure you all have heard of that title. The other one is the book called Influence, which talks about the 6 principles of influencing. Now, all these principles, as they are explained in the book, time and again, you will see wherever there is a mention of influence, Inchara, there is also a mention of ethics, right? Which means that when we learn how to influence, we need to remember to use that ability in an ethical manner, which means there has to be an ecology check, that it has to be good for everybody around. It has to be good for the society. It has to be good for people around. It shouldn't just be something that's good for me. That's called as ecology check. That's called as ensuring that you're not unethical about your ability to influence. Now, with that said, what are some of the principles which works often? And there are a few which are very, very specific to situations. So I'm going to keep that aside for today's discussion. Also, in the interest of time, I think there are 3 which pretty much will help you with almost every personal and professional situation where you need to exert influence. The first one is social proof. What is social proof? Social proof is when a lot of people agree with you, a few others are influenced with the social proof. Like how we buy anything online today. How do we buy? Basis social proof, reviews. Right? There are 10,000 people saying that this product is good. There are 5,000 people saying this hotel is good. And we land up investing in that. We don't even know those people. Isn't that funny? We don't know those people. Who are these 10,000 people? We don't know. But if 10,000 people are saying that this is a 4.8 on 5, there must be something to it. It's also called as group thinking. It's also called as herd mentality. There are different words you can use, but ultimately it all means the same. How do we apply this in our own space? By getting people who are your supporters before you go to someone who is a decision maker. So the language that we want to use when we want approvals, when we want an out of the box nod from the management, from senior leaders, is to talk the we language, right? We means that it's not just me, it's not I, like I want you to do this. I want to start this initiative. You speak to people, internalize your idea with a few who are your supporters, who believe in you, who are your friends, colleagues who will stand by you, and then go as a collective input. The we language, right? So then you say, we are looking at it differently. The moment you bring in a we, there is more weight to that idea, to that suggestion. Even if it was totally yours, if it is supported by a few, it becomes easier for the other person to be more receptive. And all these inputs, by the way, are not restricted to a few people's experience. It all connects back to human psychology. So there is a lot of merit in understanding these principles and then finding opportunities to apply them. So that's one, social proof. The second is liking. Now, you can't deny the fact that you will be willing to go beyond your comfort, to stretch yourself if you need to for people you like, right? Even if you're busy at work and somebody comes asking for a favor, it really depends on the person who's asking for the favor. It doesn't depend so much on the favor itself. It doesn't even depend so much on how much extra time you have on that particular day. It's so much about the person who's asking for it, isn't it? Give me agree in the chat if you agree with that. If you agree that when we like people, We don't mind doing more favors for them. Like, we don't mind stretching ourselves for them because we like them. And this liking is connection. When you build connections, remember, connection cannot be built in any one direction alone. It needs to be like a web. You need to have connections with people who are your peers, who are people maybe at your level in different departments, who are definitely people level in levels senior, junior. So create like a matrix structure there. Create like a network web where you've been able to develop your own connections, your own relationships with people. The more you're liked in an environment, the easier it is for you to grow in that environment. And we cannot deny that. The third influence or principle of influence that can be used in almost all situations is authority. Authority does not mean title. Authority does not mean if you're the director, then obviously you can influence people. Yes, you can. Of course, with the position, with the title, you can. But authority is not just restricted to the title. You can have authority on your subject. Right? If you are certified on a particular subject, if you are an expert in a particular domain, if you have certain awards or credentials to your name in that particular domain, then you have earned the right to talk about it. You have earned the right to have a view on it. And people will take that view more seriously. The reason why toothpaste is sold by fake doctors on screen who are actors, and we know they're actors, but just because they wear that white coat, we are putting them out as who? As dentists, right? As doctors. And so when that person says that this toothpaste is the best one, there is some amount of influence exerted on our mind, whether we accept it or not. Isn't it? Because that wardrobe commands authority, credibility. It's a doctor talking about health. It's not an engineer talking about health. You understand what I'm saying? So how do you make sure that you're able to show that authority, that credibility to people? Is by putting your hand up when there are meetings, taking opportunity for presentations, any such opportunity, big or small internally within the organization, where you can get to be in front of people and talk, share your knowledge, share your thinking, your thought process, your depth. That's how you earn credibility. It's not as if somebody's going to come and ask you to write an exam to know how much you know about a subject. So you've got to find ways to share that knowledge, to demonstrate that knowledge. And then you start earning that respect for what you know, even if it is not yet for who you are or how senior you are in the system. I hope this has helped, Inchira. Yeah, just give me some comments in the chat, please. If you will remember to practice these three principles: authority, social proof, and liking. All these are short ways of connecting with people and exerting influence in an ethical manner. Adding ethics to it and ensuring ethics are not overruled is our part of the deal. As much as we're learning all these skills, we need to ensure that we are always ethical about how we use them. Yeah, thank you for that question. Was this useful for the rest of you? If you found some value in it, just give me value in the comments for now, and I would love to know later what value you're taking away from this response. I mean, just have about 3 minutes to go, but I will still pick up this one question from Vinod. How to overcome that fear of hesitation to talk with seniors? How to face the seniority in office? Okay. So there are multiple dimensions to this, Vinod. Okay. Now, first is the culture of the organization. Every organization unknowingly creates its own culture. And culture is not something that can be defined like vision. Vision can be defined. You can put values and vision as posters on the walls. You can kind of make it into an anthem. Like we do all of that with organizations that we train all the time, right? So we make sure that their vision becomes visible everywhere as collaterals. And there are many other things that we do to drive that vision when we work with the corporates. But culture cannot be worked at in that manner. Culture is something that your behavior will create. And that's not just your behavior, collective behavior. Now, how is collective behavior influenced? When a particular behavior is more acceptable, that becomes the accepted behavior. And when somebody notices an accepted behavior, what do? They replicate that. They follow the same. So, for example, we've just started the organization. It is a team of 10. It's now becoming a team of 50. Like we're growing, we're scaling up, and we're realizing that earlier, when we were a small team, we had no choice but to sit back till late, and our emails used to go to each other at 10 o'clock, and the people responding back at 11 o'clock and 11:30. There's absolutely no sense of time when the email is sent, when the email is received or responded to. And while we've scaled up and we have many more hands at work now, we have continued that practice, and that practice has been an acceptable practice for the rest of the people. So these 30, 40 people who are joining the organization, what do? They sit and observe initially, and they say, okay, this is how it's run here. What do after that? They follow suit. They follow the same behavior. So when it comes to dealing with seniors, we need to understand what is the culture in my organization. Because you know what, as much as you could put this question on GPT or internet, like, Google or wherever else, I'm in fact curious to know myself what the response will be. My guess is that the response is going to be some spiel on how you have to be confident about what you are saying, and how you need to do your homework, and how you need to ensure that your concepts are clear, right? And your question is thought through, and all that is not a wrong answer. That's all right. That's absolutely right. But that's not the answer, because you cannot give a generic answer to such a question. It's very specific to the culture of your organization. There are organizations even today where the seniors, like people who are holding senior positions, don't like to be questioned. In fact, there are also organizations I know of where they're still not comfortable being on first name basis. They don't like to be called as Vinod. They want to be called as Sir or Mr. Germany. That's how they want to be called. So we have to first understand the culture and then decide how to interact with the senior people. With that said, and the culture understood, what we need to do internally here in our own mind is to know that wherever these people have reached is not just a function of how smart they are. It's also a function of the time invested. It's the function of the effort they have invested in outrunning a few other people to get to that point. How? By knowing better, by preparing better. So you need to look at them as a source of inspiration and not as a source of intimidation. Comparing yourself to people who have 5 years of more experience is an apple to orange comparison. It's like a new coach coming into the industry and feeling bad and belittling himself or herself, thinking, oh my God, I don't know half as much as Yukti does, because I've spent a decade in this space. And I was where they are today, they're starting their journey today. And wherever I am today with whatever, if I know little about a subject and I am at some point in that subject today, there are people in that domain who are steps ahead, leaps ahead of me if they've been in that space for longer. So it's a function of how much more time someone has spent, how much more effort the other person has spent to go deeper. Every time in every organization that I have worked with, Vinod, and I'm sharing something very personal with you here, even the clients that I have now as an entrepreneur, I have always looked at these senior people as a source of inspiration. So there is an instant ease in talking to them because you're not comparing, you're not being intimidated. You know where you stand and what you know. And you also know what you don't know. You're understanding what I'm saying, right? So when you are in proximity of people who know more, if I were you, I would listen more and talk less. Simple. Listen more and talk less. And whenever you talk sense. You will be able to make sense only when you're willing to listen. So that is one bottom line message for you, Vinod. When you're with These senior people, authority people, and there's hesitation in talking, don't force yourself to talk. Be there to listen. And when you're listening carefully, you will know what to talk about. It is not about how much you talk. In fact, they love to listen to their own voice, by the way. Oh, they love it. Senior people, they love that somebody else is there to listen to me. It does good to their ego. Let's face it, right? So you give it to them. It's a win-win situation. Let them enjoy their voice while you enjoy listening and learning from them. And in the process, if you have a question to ask, that will be a good reason to talk. I hope that's reaching out and making sense, and it's been useful for you, Vinod. I want you to try this out and kind of drop that pressure of talking because you see somebody else talk more than you do. Does not mean they have a better impression than yours. We're only making an assumption if that's how we're thinking. Creating connections, developing connections is not about quantity. It's always about quality. Quality of your conversations. Quality of what you say when you say something. That will always outdo people who yap, and more often than not, they put their own foot in their mouth because they talk too much and they talk unnecessarily. And somewhere someone has told them that talking more is an exhibition of confidence. It isn't. It isn't. What is more mature is to have stillness, is to be a better listener than a talker. And that's what makes you a better communicator, isn't it? As I always say, communication is more about listening than talking. 70%, if I may put a number to it, 70% of communication should be just listening. As Dalai Lama said, when you listen, you learn. When you speak, you can only share what you know. It's when you listen that you learn. And when you learn about these people, you know what to say. And then you just need to say that. That's all. Please let me know if this was useful and if you're taking away something. And if you are, I would love to know what that is. How is your next conversation with your seniors going to be any different? The way I see it, and if I need to put it down into bullets, I will say, number one, don't compare yourself with them because it's not a fair comparison. Number two, don't look at them as a source of intimidation. They are a source of inspiration. And number three, good communication is better listening than more talking. There you go. I summed it up for you. You can just repeat that and put it in the chat because even while doing that, you will be able to retain this a lot better. Thank you so much. I think that's all the time we have. When we talk to seniors, quality is important, not quantity. Absolutely, Indy rightly said. Useful, Vinod. Thank you so much. Big takeaway. Thank you so much. A big, big, big thanks to all of you for being here and spending these beautiful Tuesday evenings with me. As I've always said, Tuesday is my favorite day of the week because that's when we meet and we talk sense. And we talk with the intent to be better people. What can be a better intention than that? So take care of yourself. Thank you so much once again for joining in. I will see you next week with another important insight in the space of leadership and spirituality. Till then, please take very good care of yourself. God bless you all.